This is a 1972 Fiat 500. It makes around 20 horsepower, has a 4-speed manual transmission with no synchros, so it is the hardest to shift car I have ever been in, and it is a fantastic experience. I'm in a little part of Italy called Umbria, which is equidistant from Florence and Rome. I've been driving this car for 3 days now, through the rain, through the night, also in the daytime, and it has been so much fun. I thought that my 3 Mazda Miatas, my BMW M2, were fun, connected cars, right? They're manual, the Miatas were older, they had very little power, and this car is a completely new experience for me, and one that I highly recommend to anyone that can get the privilege of driving or even owning one of these cars. So, let me tell you a couple of my thoughts from the driving. Firstly, it is so different because there is no tack and there's basically no tech either in this car. So I'm gonna come to a slow yield here and downshift. You can hear the grind and you can see that this car seems a little bit small because it is. That's the top of second gear there. We have no tachometer here, so timing the shifts is a little bit difficult. All we have is a speedo that goes up to 120 kilometers per hour, and on that speedometer we have, one second, we have these small red stickers pretty much that's the top of first, that's the top of second, and then we have the top of third gear there. Now, the way that you figure out when to downshift is by figuring out where you upshifted, and that's sort of your maximum. So you have to rev match because there are no synchros in here. So every time you shift, there's usually a little bit of a grind. If you can get the perfect shift, it's an amazing feeling, but it's extremely difficult. So you can see right now I'm in third. What I'm gonna do after this corner is I'll upshift to fourth, then I'll try and downshift to third, and you can see how difficult that experience is. So right here, we're going through the corner, pretty fun. I'm gonna go to fourth right there, and now I'm gonna go to third. So down, double clutch, get the revs up, and you can hear a little bit of a grind there. The name of the game is to go slow when you're downshifting and try and get the perfect revs. Once it's revved perfectly, it'll slide in with a little bit less grinding. So I'm gonna do the same with second gear here. You can see we're almost at the top of second in terms of where our red line's at. I'm in third, so I'm gonna double clutch, get the revs up. You can hear it grind there, but then it caught into the correct spot, and now I'm gonna go up to third gear. Okay, so that's the shifting. That's an interesting part. The steering, this thing actually handles incredibly well. So I've had a lot of fun going through the various roundabouts here in Umbria. So I'm gonna go on the brakes. The brakes, they don't really exist. They're just more of a helping mechanism, but they're not gonna really stop you. So it is recommended to engine brake in this car when you're going downhill, which is what I did of the most. And it's pretty sunny right now. My face is burning. There's no air conditioner, there's no heat, there's no fan. Your only options are the windows. So we have these little front windows here that you can push open, or of course, you can manually roll down the window. What is awesome about this car is the very similar to the Mazda Miata like top opening mechanism. So there's a pretty good downshift. You go like this. I'm gonna slow down and I'm actually gonna do a full stop here, and I'm gonna open the top. So all you do with one hand, you release that, you flip it open, and you're good to go. If you want it to be even more open, you can push it back and you have more of the top. Let's take a quick break from the driving to take a look around the car. It is so adorable and actually so cool looking. It has some flared fenders on both the front and the back, and I want to show you the interesting things like the fuel tank and also the engine in the rear. So let me show you how to actually pop open the front, which is where the fuel tank is. So you pull this lever here, and you actually have to pull at the same time to pop that open. Once you get the hood to kind of open up, you have a release, just like a regular hood, that's right here. So you can see that switch there, and then once you pop it up, that spring pops into place and it holds on. You can see there's a spare tire and wheel in here. We have a jack. We also have a little bit of electronic components, and then the fuel tank itself. That's it. That's all the fuel you can hold. I believe it is 4.6 gallons. Someone can comment down below if they know for sure. That'd be great. I don't know how many miles per gallon or liters per 100 kilometers this car uses. It's extremely fuel efficient, as you can imagine. It's tiny. And then to check how much fuel you have, you open this up and you look, and you can even shake the car around and hear, you can hear the fuel in there. Listen to that. I mean, it's like checking on a motorcycle. So to put this down, you open it, you pull the latch, and then you push this. Now, Let me show you the powerhouse. Let me show you what's in the caboose, and that is the engine on this car. So we have the key right here. All we do is we take that, we pop it open, and we can pull. You can see this is an Abarth motor right there. So that's got the Abarth logo on it. This one, the gentleman who told me in his broken English and my very, very bad Italian, said this is about 20 horsepower that this car is making. It's a 1972, as I mentioned, and it is so much fun. I didn't think that this could feel quick, but it actually does not feel slow at all. It's definitely not fast, doesn't have a fast top speed by any means, but it is pretty solid. Then when we close that up, you can see that there is a luggage rack right here. So if you want to put a suitcase on the car, you could, and then you could take some bungee cords and tie it on right here. There's some little areas where you can hook that on. Then we have the rear bumper bar, which is solid. We have the exhaust tip, which is hilarious when it starts up. It looks very funny. I'll put a little clip of that right there. And this is the company that I got the car from. It is vintagetours.it. They delivered it straight to my hotel, which was awesome because I took a regular rental car from the airport to drive here. We have the tail lights, the brake lights, and the reverse light. And then back here, we have the bench. That's what I've been using sort of as storage. So I have my water, my jacket there, and all that stuff. You can see the interior here. And now let me show you the startup process before we get back to the driving. So what you do to start it up is you take the key, stick it in the center slot, and turn to the right. You can see if we turn the lights on, it goes green right there, so you know the lights are on. We have very little space for the feet here, but put that in neutral. This is the choke right here, so if it's cold, you can use the choke to start it, but you just pull on this ignition lever, give it a little bit of gas, rev it up, and now we're ready to keep driving. This car is so fun. I have not gone over, I think, the equivalent of 40 miles an hour, and I have had a blast. I mean 40 miles an hour in this video that you guys are seeing here. I've taken it up to 80 kilometers an hour, maybe a little bit faster than that, which I think is around 50 miles per hour, but this thing is amazing. We have two switches here. One is for the wipers, which I had to use a couple times. The other is for the headlights, and that's it. Those are all the switches you get. In terms of comfort, I've done, I think, over 100 miles of driving in this car, and it's been fine to drive through most of the countryside roads of Umbria. There's a harsh little downshift there. And this car creates a lot of smiles all around it. So inside the car, I'm smiling. My fiance's been smiling the whole time, having a great time. And anytime we are next to someone, whether we're passing them as they're a pedestrian walking, there's hard on the brakes again, or when we're driving through the towns, people always give you the right of way. People respect it, and they understand you're going slow, but you're having fun, and you're kind of probably going your top speed. So going downhill, I'm just gonna stay in second gear and allow the car to do a little bit of engine braking for me. You can see this one has a beautiful red and white interior. It has a bench seat in the back, and we have the open air right here with the matching red, not mirrors, but just the visors right there. So I'm gonna give it some throttle, and surprisingly, it feels quick. It's definitely not fast because it doesn't have a fast top speed, but it feels very quick, and that's because it has around 20 horsepower and it weighs, I believe, around 1,200 pounds. And again, there's nothing in it. There's just engines, a metal box, and some seats. And right now I'm gonna put my foot to the floor, go up to fourth. We're getting close to 80 kilometers an hour, and this thing handles, this thing puts smiles on everyone's faces. And I thought that I would feel a little bit more anxious and worried due to its size and lack of power and lack of braking, but I don't. I really have just been having a fantastic time with this car. It has made me respect driving and older cars even more, and I just want to keep driving it. I thought about renting a Ferrari while I'm here in Italy. I love the 458, it's my dream car, but this has given me more smiles and has been very well worth it. A Ferrari I could drive in the US, I could drive a Ferrari for the next 100 years. These cars will not always be around, and I'm very glad that I got to experience this. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching. Peace.